Hi everyone, welcome to Chalchitra Talks. मेरा नाम वाणी है and in this episode I want to recommend to you the audio version of a book, Becoming by Michelle Obama. A few days ago, Vaibhav and I were doing a stream and we ended up talking about becoming. That's when I realized what becoming meant to me. I actually was going through my Instagram stories a couple of years ago, somewhere around the time Becoming had just released, and a friend had posted a story of how she thought the audiobook was amazing. I did not have the time to read the book because it was exceptionally long and it terrified me at that time because there were already so many pending reads. And I ended up trying the audiobook. Having tried different audiobooks before Becoming, I really was not at all excited because I just was deep down hoping that the audiobook would be bearable. But to my surprise, it was Michelle Obama who was narrating it, and Becoming became the first audiobook I ever completed. Becoming, as we know, is an intimate, powerful, such an inspiring story about living through life and becoming someone, becoming your own person. And we all have heard exceptionally high praise of Becoming. When it came out, it was called Book of the Season, and everyone was talking about it. What makes the audio version different is that it feels like you're part of the intimate circle of Michelle Obama. You listen to her narrate the book and you get your own Tuesdays with Maury moment. Like when I was reading Tuesdays with Maury, I wanted to have my own mentor. Like the book is beautiful and amazing, but I really wanted to experience something similar. And the closest I've ever come to experience something like that was when I was listening to Becoming. It is a deeply moving memoir about the reckoning of a very powerful woman. Powerful in the way she deals with obstacles that come her way. The audiobook is about 20 hours long, and you just will not realize how the time passes by. It will leave you wanting for more, and you would wish Michelle Obama starts her own podcast. She takes you through her childhood, her education. She takes you through the memories that have built her. She takes you through the struggles that she faced as a woman. There was a time when she talks about how she was so ambitious, and you see it in the story. But gradually, you realize how she had to give up on a few things and put her family first because her husband was running to be the president of the United States of America. And all of a sudden, she was married to someone who would come home late because he worked exceptionally hard. And she had to be a full-time mother. And that was just not something she had at one point thought she'd be doing. But she embraced that role and was never resentful about it. And that motivated me a lot. It made me question the ideas I had about feminism, the ideas that had made me believe in being a feminist. It made me remodel who I was as a person, and it taught me about relationships. Becoming as a book is not so much about politics. Of course, politics comes into it gradually because that's just something you cannot avoid when you're writing about yourself as Michelle Obama. But despite that, the book is not at all about politics. It is about her disappointments, her personal failures. Eventually, at the end of the book, she tells you how if all of us were just a little more open with each other and share our stories, how that will help in breaking down the barriers. And she's done that with Becoming. There's a point in Becoming where she actually justifies the title of the book. And I remember listening to it and I couldn't stop crying. And she says to me, Becoming isn't arriving somewhere. It is a way to reach continuously to a better self. The journey never ends. It is never giving up the idea. And through the book, you'll realize there's no handbook to live a life. As the wife of Barack Obama, as the first lady of America, or as the first African American woman to hold such a position, she was never given a handbook of rules, a handbook to help her or guide her through the journey. She had to navigate it on her own. She had to make compromises and choose not to be resentful about it. She had to learn and gauge what she can do with the position she had suddenly found herself in. And she made the right use of it. She gave the opportunity to so many people out there, so many women out there. She changed so many lives. And she inspired us every day. And that is what Becoming is about. The book, of course, hit the charts, but the audiobook is just a whole different experience. Primarily because Michelle Obama is narrating it, and of course, you go through the ripples. You talk to her and you feel what she is trying to convey. If you haven't heard the audiobook, I would urge you to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing and listen to it. If you've already read the book, go back and listen to the audiobook. It will change your life. And if you are a woman like me, it will give you the strength that you need to be your own person. Of course, as you grow through life, there comes a time where you actually start embracing yourself. You start becoming who you are. But then there are stories that always inspire you, and Becoming is one such story. It's about a woman who ended up prioritizing things that she never thought she'd even care about. Michelle Obama talks about her pregnancy issues, how she was not able to have a child. And she does this with so much ease. She relaxes you into it and she makes you feel that it's all right to not fit into the mold that the society has made for you. And as a woman, as an introvert, I've always longed to have such idols. When people talk about the right representation, quite sometimes we're not able to understand why they do so, especially when we are sitting in the position of privilege. But then there comes a time where you see someone out there who is modeled somewhat after your personality, and you realize immediately the need of representation, the need for validation. Michelle Obama's Becoming was one such book for me. Quiet by Susan Cain was another, where she talked about introverts and she talked how it's normal to be yourself, how it's okay to not be enthusiastic all the time and to want to talk to people all the time. And Michelle Obama's Becoming was that book that I needed, where it was okay to choose your own battles and to fight for them, to fight for what you believe is right. And it's okay to not fight all those battles as long as you're doing something about it. And that is what makes Becoming so beautiful a book for me. And the fact that Michelle Obama narrates the audiobook and the intimacy that it brings makes the audiobook even better for me. And I think it's the first time I'm doing something like this in the history of book recommendations. Do not read the book, listen to the audiobook. So this was my recommendation for this week. I hope you liked it. But before I go, I want to remind you that if you like our work, if you like what we do, if you like the recommendations that we bring to you, do support us on Patreon, or you can also become a member of our YouTube community. We have carefully divided our patrons into 3 different categories: Goodfellas, Gladiators, Godfathers. Each membership comes with its own perks and privileges. For example, Godfathers, who are at the top, are literally treated like godfathers. That's what we say and we mean. They have access to all of our WhatsApp groups that are dedicated to movies, music, books. They also have access to our streams and quizzes. We host monthly town hall sessions with them where we discuss books, movies, what's happening around the world. We also discuss recommendations in general, and we also take their feedback. So do support us if you like our work and you like our recommendations.